Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Abyss. I am Rob Adams of the Actors Workshop, and today we're going to do another Kino Lorber haul. In the past, we've done unboxings, and I even did the Noirvember edition of Kinos. This one we're going to do a haul, and there's many definitions for the word haul, but for us, we're going to go under the definition of to obtain or collect, because that's what I'm doing is I'm obtaining and collecting these awesome Blu-rays. So in this latest haul, I have 9 Kinos, and as we always talk about, they do the black spines that are really simple but cool, and that's how you know that they're Kinos, and they're categorized in my library as such. But once again, why do I do these once in a while? Number one, because when I get them, I want to share them, but also because I want you guys to discover different movies with different actors, probably movies you've never even heard of. That maybe launch people's careers and you can watch them and see how they've progressed, or maybe movies that were in the heydays of their career and you just maybe didn't hear of it. You know, the way that we are able to watch movies today is very different, and unless you're looking for something specific, it's hard to find these, right? Or if it just sneaks up on you, you're like, oh, I didn't know this movie existed, then maybe you get a chance to see it. Otherwise, you're just streaming, looking up things you like on Netflix and that kind of thing. So that's the reason why. And I want you to watch their acting and the stuff they do. Because as you know, I'm not buying the movie unless A, it has really good acting in it, and B, it's a really good movie. Otherwise, it's not worth the money. So let's get going. The first one is a movie starring Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan when they're really young. It's called DOA, Dead on Arrival. This is a more 80s film noir. It's kind of half black and white, half color, which is kind of cool. It is a remake of an original movie called DOA. This is one I've kind of went back and forth with several times whether to buy or not, but it is while the supply. It was in the while the supplies last bin, so it's either get it now or run the risk of it being sold out and then can't get it. And if you can, it's higher numbers than $7.99. So I figured it was a good time to pull the trigger. I mean, what can you say of Meg Ryan when she was in her heyday? Adorable, likable, really, really talented and good at doing Meg Ryan. Dennis Quaid, one of those quietly consistent actors, always doing his thing really good. Together, they're really good. I like the original DOA better. I can't find it on Blu-ray yet, so this is a good substitute for now. And this is the one I saw originally in the 80s, so it was good to finally get this. All right, the next one, Edgar Allan Poe's The Oblong Box, starring Christopher Lee and Vincent Price. Two classics. If you've watched any of these videos, you know I'm a big Vincent Price fan. Christopher Lee, of course, a legend. You put them together in, a Living Dead, zombie, whatever type movie. And once again, I haven't seen this movie, but it's actors that I really like, with a story I like. I like the Poe stories. So once again, and here's the criteria. When I buy Kinos, I used to go $12.99 and below. I've changed it to $9.99 and below because I've discovered that some of the ones I bought at $12.99 are now at $9.99 when they hit their sales. So I've kind of pumped the brakes. It has to be $10 or less for me to do this, to make it advantageous and price effective. So this was one that was in my queue. All of these were kind of in my queue, just waiting for them to price drop. And I do have so many more in a queue that I'm waiting for them to drop in price. And we've talked about it in class. I'll usually narrow it down to 15, 16, and then cut it down to 9, 10, whatever, right around that $100 mark. So I did 9 this time, and this is one of those ones that, once again, was in the queue. I wanted to add to my Vincent Price, Christopher Lee collection. Finally got to do it. Looking forward to watching it. All right, the next one up is The Black Windmill, starring Michael Caine. Don Siegel, who was a director back in the 70s, did a series of police films. His most famous, of course, is Dirty Harry, which he did, I think, in 71. And then he did this one that I already got on Kino called Charlie Varick, starring Walter Matthau, that is pretty good. And this is the third one, which is the weakest of the 3, but still, I enjoy that storyline. And I really like Michael Caine's acting. And I like Don Siegel in the early days in his directing. So, now I have all 3 of these type films with Dirty Harry, Charlie Varick, and now The Black Windmill. And I'm looking forward to checking it out and seeing it. But he definitely had a formula. You know, as actors, you know, we always talk about, you know, the formula. Actors have a formula, right? You see Liam Neeson, Tom Cruise, these legendary actors who, you know, Jennifer Aniston on the female side, they really have a formula, and they cast them in these formulas. But directors also have a formula, right? And after the success of Dirty Harry, it made sense to make Charlie Varick and then make the Black Windmill, etc. Why not? If they're selling, they're working, they're successful, keep doing them. And you have good actors in them with Clint Eastwood, Walter Matthau, and Michael Caine. Next up, we have Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, The Marrying Man. This is another one that I've kind of gone back and forth with. It was $5.99. Figured I'd take the plunge with that price. I really like Alec Baldwin as an actor. You know, as a person, you know, he is what he is. But as an actor, he's terrific. Kim Basinger, you know, she can get annoying, but she's fun to watch on screen, and I think they have a good chemistry. And from what I've read, this has some really good comedic moments. And like I said, for the price, it just made sense to finally do it. And looking forward to watching this one as well. All right, number 5 on our list, Jean Arthur, Marlene Dietrich, and John Lunn in the legendary A Foreign Affair. This one is one that I've seen. It's just been a long, long time. And this is one of those ones that comes out on Blu-ray, and a couple different companies release this, and I've been waiting for the one to drop in price, and Kino wins out, and I was finally able to get it. But this is one of these Hollywood classics, and I recommend it. If you've never seen it, it's a must-watch. Glad to finally add it to my collection, and looking forward to watching it again. All right, next in line is the 3rd edition of my Titanic movies. This is SOS Titanic. Of course, I have the Criterion A Night to Remember, 1958. You really watch the modern day Titanic, and you see Cameron's ideas came a lot from A Night to Remember. I believe we even discussed that at one point. It's a really good film, but it was made as well as this one was before they actually found the ship. And so they have to go off of, and it's funny because the other day in class we talked about conjecture. Sometimes movies and music, they add conjecture to tell a story. So when you don't have all of the facts, you make a movie with as much facts as possible, and then you add conjecture to really, you know, sell the film. A Night to Remember has a little bit of that, as well as SOS Titanic. This is another one I have not seen. This is 1979, so it's a little bit more modern at this point. And it was another one that had been sitting in my queue waiting to drop in price so I could get, because I was looking forward to seeing this one. I love the Titanic story. I knew about Titanic when I was a kid, as well as we all did, but I really knew the story and stuff. And I knew it, you know, before they even found the ship. So, and I remember when they did find it in the National Geographic layout, and how they really missed the ship because they didn't realize it broke in half, which fast forwards you to the modern day Leo, Kate Winslet, Titanic, where you get more of a factual along with a fiction story built in of what happened to the ship. So it's kind of neat to have 3 different versions: A Night to Remember, SOS, Titanic, and then of course Titanic, and be able to compare the different ways of the filmmaking and the shots and how they did stuff. And you're dealing with different eras, right? You're dealing with, you know, 50s, the 70s, and then, you know, the 90s. So like I said, looking forward to checking this one out and comparing. The next one, The Man Who Haunted Himself, Roger Moore. We talked about Roger Moore before with, I think it was called The Naked Face, that I got last time. This is during that same period of time when he was doing his Bond movies, and he had celebrity from that. And, you know, The Naked Face and this, they're capitalizing on his success as Bond right now. This movie is interesting because he plays dual roles. And so it's another one that I've heard a lot about, but never have seen it. And, you know, once again, it was the right price at the right time to be able to finally get it, and looking forward to watching it and seeing his acting performance. You know, I'm a big Roger Moore fan as Bond. I grew up with him as my Bond. So, you know, I say my Bond, right? We all grew up with Sean Connery or, you know, Pierce Brosnan or, you know, whatever, Daniel Craig. mine was Roger Moore. So, I want to get these films that are ranked pretty good in his catalog and check them out and see something where it's kind of, if he's doing his job, it's going to be Bond-esque because he is Roger Moore, but it's also going to be unique to the film that he's making. So this will be interesting to see with him playing dual roles, which is always fun to do. All right. Next one up is a movie called Losing It. This is Tom Cruise's first feature film. Before this, he had done a couple scenes in Endless Love. He was in The Outsiders and he was in Taps. This was the one where he kind of got the lead role in it, along with Jackie Earle Haley, who was Kelly in The Bad News Bears, Shelley Long, who was popular with Cheers at this time. And, they're capitalizing on Shelley Long's success, Jackie Earle Haley's success from Bad News Bears, and then a young Tom Cruise up and coming. And you have this movie Losing It, which is going to propel him into doing Risky Business, and then the rest is history. This movie's okay. There's some fun moments, there's some good moments, but it's one of the few in the Tom Cruise collection I do not own. So once again, it made sense at the price to grab it and finally add it to the collection. I'm looking forward to rewatching it. I know my son Tyler's a huge Tom Cruise fan, so I'm sure he'll sit down with me and watch it. And it'll be fun to revisit it after all these years with some actors that I really enjoy watching. All right, the last one is the classic original zombie film, Bela Lugosi, White Zombie. Now I got a question for you. Where do you think Rob Zombie came up with the idea of the name of his band, White Zombie? You got it. White Zombie, starring Bela Lugosi. This is one that the film, I've watched on TV and stuff, is really dark and it's really old. And it is what it is. This is actually restored from archival footage and from 35 millimeter film elements. I'm reading it off the bottom here, what it's saying. And I believe that there's two different versions on here. There's the original version, which is probably the darker version, and then they have the remastered HD restoration version. So it's cool to have both versions, and that was why this is another one that comes out in different Blu-ray company releases, but this is the one I was waiting for this because of having both versions. Like I said, I've seen the one on TV of the darker version. I'm looking forward to seeing the restoration and see what they do that. And I love when they do that. That's what Kino does. We've talked about it with where they take the archival footage and they remaster it from the 35 millimeter film and so on and so forth. So a movie like this that's so old but classic and your original zombie film and had such an effect that people are naming their bands after. It's like when we were talking about the Boris Karloff film Black Sabbath. Those movies created band names because they were so classic, and this is another one. I'm not comparing White Zombie to Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath's a much better band. But Zombie as a filmmaker, as a musician, being influenced by movies like that is pretty cool. And like I said, looking forward to watching the restoration. This is one that you need to check out. It is a classic. Hopefully you can find it in the restored version because the other version is really, really dark and it's just tough to watch, but it's a must watch. So there you have it. Anyways, there are my 9 films from this latest haul. I hope it entices you to maybe check out 1 or 2 of them, or maybe all of them, or maybe none of them. It's up to you. But there's a reason why they're classics. There's a reason why they're restored. There's a reason why I picked the ones I picked. Listen to the actors I talked about. Michael Caine, Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price, Tom Cruise. Okay? Just to name a few off the top of my head. Meg Ryan. Okay? These are classic, really good, great actors who are successful at doing what they do best themselves and selling that. And that is why I enjoy purchasing these and watching them and rewatching them, because of the consistency of these actors. And I think you guys need to watch these movies and see, a young Meg Ryan and go, yeah, she's the same in Harry Met Sally. She just kind of progressed. Or Tom Cruise in Losing It. Yeah, he's the same Tom Cruise. He just progressed by the time he got to Top Gun. or whatever it is, you know, or just check out the movie because you like the story of Titanic and check out a different version than just the Cameron version. Get out of your box, get out of the, you know, the narrow-minded way of doing things and see, you know, what you think and what you like. Anyhow, I hope you guys have a terrific weekend. I'm looking forward to throwing out more quotes, videos as they come, and we'll see you soon.